So I've made a mistake and I want to correct something. I've been fighting a cold last couple of days, so I'm trying to speak up as much as possible, even though my throat is sore and that's why my nose is red. I fucking look like Rudolph here. But I was incorrect in a statement that I usually say on my channel, so I just wanted to address it. So don't say that I don't care about integrity and I just say whatever I want to say in an argument, and then if it's wrong, we'll just whatever. I actually care about being correct, and then if I find out new information that contradicts something I've said before, then I address it. So one of the phrases I say in a lot of my videos, I'm talking about U.S. foreign policy or the wars that the U.S. are in, I say the U.S. is in 100 plus wars. At the information I looked at the time, before I started making videos, that's what the data in the articles, that's what they said. It made sense. I looked at the data, I looked at the maps, I looked at the troop numbers and everything, whatever, I looked at the different wars, and I'm like, yeah, it was 100 plus. But then I recently saw new information that shows, well, it's not actually 100, and not all these conflicts are actually still going, and not all of them are considered wars. So I just want to address it that it's actually not 100 wars, it's 64. Oh, like that's so much better. Oh, I didn't kill 100 people, I only killed 64. Oh, well, okay, who's off the hook then? So, no, it's not 100. So the situation is a little better than I thought it was. But the fact that we are in 64 wars, and the fact that we have special ops forces in 134 plus countries, I literally, I checked that too, because I'm like 134. We have troops, excuse me, we have troops in 134 countries, but we're only fighting in 64 of them, so the other half are just sitting on their fat asses, just getting a paycheck for looking tough with their guns. So, I looked into that. It's actually 134, so I'll leave a link, as always, to all this information backing what I say, because I don't want to say stupid fucking bullshit and say, oh, it's another YouTuber who's just ranting and just doesn't back up anything he says. No, I actually back up what I say. 64 wars is still insane. That is just a mind-boggling number. And the fact that people chalk it up to, well, the U.S. is the world leader, the leader in democracy, American exceptionalism. We have to do this in order to maintain our security and our high standard of living. It's just like, how do the two correlate? What the fucking hell are you talking about? It's like a bully with all the other kids in the playground, and he just wallops and beats the shit out of every other kid he sees and says, oh, it's for my own security. They were going to attack me, so I got to attack them first. It's just like, no. The two have nothing to do with each other. This is why I champion Gary Johnson's stance of only fighting defensive wars. Only if a country actually attacked us will we actually attack back. And then in some instances, like for example, when Germany invaded France in World War II, France just couldn't push them out of their borders and say, okay, we're done. Germany was still a threat, so they had to push farther. So that is still a defensive war, even though you're invading someone else's territory. So that's fine. That is still a defensive war, which I support. But 64 fucking wars, no, actually none of them are defensive. We lie saying it's American exceptionalism. We have to do this for security. It's for the children. It's for your safety. Are you a Muslim terrorist sympathizer? It's just, no, we don't have to do this. In fact, all these wars decrease our security and heighten the risk of terrorism because these people are seeing their families and friends die for no fucking reason, and the U.S. is just laughing at them from their drones or from their fucking F-15s, and they get pissed off, as any rational person would. Imagine if the U.S., let's say China, for example, had drones flying across the U.S., and then they bombed your family with a drone strike and said, oh yeah, they were terrorist sympathizers. Provides no evidence, there's no court date, there's just absolutely no indication whatsoever that your family members were actually terrorist sympathizers, but the Chinese says it is, and the global media supports them in their claim, and then everyone just says, oh, you're a fucking terrorist sympathizer, your family deserved to die. Wouldn't you get pissed off? Wouldn't you want the Chinese to get the fuck out of your country? And that's why people are so mad that the U.S. has bases in 134 plus nations, and at war with 64 nations. Now, you might say, well, 64, that's still a BS claim, you're not going to name them. No, I actually wrote the fucking list down. I'm going to go through every single country that we are fighting a war in. Actively killing people, or when you're involved in a war, doesn't actually mean that you are on the front line. If you are training the people who are going to the front line and committing these war crimes, committing terrorism, you are still involved in that war. You're still fighting in that war, indirectly. When you give weapons and ammunition and, tanks and fighter jets, you are still contributing to that war. You're still involved in it. So that's when I mean 64, I don't mean that U.S. actually has in the front line, thousands of troops fighting in 64 nations. No, of course, that's not how we fight anymore. You know, so let's go through the list. The first 24 of these are related to the war on drugs, mostly in South America. I literally just took a map I found on the internet of all of the places that the U.S. has admitted to having troops. That's another thing we'll get to in a second. Has admitted to having troops, and then I just looked through the conflicts, and I just went around the globe. So I went through Central and South America, and I went over to Africa and Middle East and off to Asia. You know, I just painstakingly went through this because no website automatically lists information for you. So let's go through it. Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica, Haiti, Colombia, Peru, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Suriname, French Guinea, Ecuador, Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Bahamas, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Algeria, Tunisia, Niger, Libya, Chad, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Congo, Egypt, South Sudan, Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, Eritrea, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Palestine, Turkey, Iraq, Syria, Iran, Ukraine, Lebanon, Georgia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Burundi, India, Bangladesh, Burma, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand. Lost my place in this long list. Thailand, Malaysia, Sudan, and Mozambique. 64 countries that we are either fighting in directly with drones or troops or whatever, assisting the security forces in that fight. So we are contributing to war crimes and terrorism in that war, or we are giving military aid to one of these countries in enabling war crimes and terrorism. 64 fucking goddamn countries. Now, this is just what you can pull from public information on the internet. Now, we know the U.S. government is a fucking lying piece of shit. They lie about almost everything they can lie about because they have so much power they can. They want to maintain the global empire. They want to maintain their control of the global resources and push down anyone that is trying to overthrow them as the world leader. So this is 64 nations that the U.S. has admitted to being in wars with. And the 134 nations that they have special forces in, what they admit, who knows how many more they have? You know, like a similar example is the NSA spying program that Edward Snowden revealed, and I believe it was 2014, 2015, relatively recently, you know, before he fled to Russia. We knew that the government spied on people, like, indirectly, like they might listen to our conversations, they might hack emails, but then he revealed, oh, it's so much more than that. They collect metadata by the hundreds of thousands, by the millions. They collect metadata from other countries because their technology is better than the government, so they just go through the defenses and spy on millions of other people also, and then they listen to your phone conversations, they go through your texts, they go through your emails, and then recently with the CIA, they listen through your TVs. They listen through your the TVs in your cars. They don't listen through your microwaves. Kellyanne Conway, I'm sorry, we haven't developed that technology yet to spy through microwaves. That were really useful because a terrorist might be plotting something in another room that the TV can't pick up, but the microwave might. Side note, sorry, that's just really fucking funny that she thought that Obama wiretapped Trump through the microwave. That's actually ingenious. If props to Obama for fucking coming up with a new way to spy on people. You know, since he championed the NSA spying program, sucked their fucking dick for so many fucking goddamn years. You know, I would assume he was the one to come up with that. We'll get into sidetrack. That was just a side note. Okay, so who knows how many more wars and how many more countries we have troops in because the U.S. is a fucking liar, and we only get this information by repeatedly pressing them for this information by leaks. Julian Assange and Edward Snowden had to make these huge sacrifices in order for us to know this. This might only be a part of the information. In conclusion, the U.S. is not involved in all these wars and has these troops in all these other countries to protect itself. Everyone with half a brain stem knows that you only need to protect yourself by having troops in your own country and maintaining defenses in the country. All this preemptive bullshit, or the war on drugs. You know, we know what's better for some random guy in Colombia, for example, whether to put drugs in a system or not. We know better than him, so we're going to send special forces halfway across the world, down to Colombia, and then we're going to shoot this motherfucker because, no, drugs will ruin your life. That's why if you use them, we're going to send special ops troops to come in and ruin your life by shooting you in the fucking face. You know, it's just, we're policing other people's citizens. We are contributing to the oppression and the suffering of millions of other people across the world because we go to fucking, I don't know, Yemen, for example, and let's pick a country we give military aid to. Saudi Arabia. We contribute to the suffering of millions of Saudi Arabians every single year because we give the Saudi Arabians so much goddamn military aid that they are able to suppress their citizens so they can't revolt and actually have a chance of escaping their oppression and making a better government. So anti-social justice warriors or anti-Islam YouTubers constantly bemoan Saudi Arabia for being an oppressive place, but they don't even realize that the people they voted into office are the reason why Saudi Arabia exists in the first place. If we would stop giving so much military aid to the Saudi Arabians, then the Saudi Arabians might actually have a chance to overthrow the government and have a better government. It's not a complete dick to its own citizens. So we're actively contributing to the problem while bemoaning the people that are suffering because of it. I mean, it's just, how narrow-minded do you have to be? Not only do we give them military aid, but we actively train Saudi Arabian forces to know, they train them in sweeping techniques to pick up terrorists, which Saudi Arabia defines any terrorist as anyone fighting against the government, which any rational person would fight against the Saudi Arabian government if you have been living in a stupid fucking country, So they train them in that. They train them how to interrogate people. They train them how to kidnap them in the dead of night, and the interrogation techniques to torture them with false confessions so they can hang them for fighting against the government. We're actively contributing to that because we train the Saudi Arabian security forces. I talk a lot with my hands, don't I? We actively train them to oppress their own citizens, and then lots of Americans who have YouTube channels insult Islam for the problem that is Saudi Arabia, when the vast majority of Muslims hate Saudi Arabia and would want the government to get rid of it if they had a chance, but they don't get the chance because the U.S. gives them so fucking much military aid and military training and security training that they are able to have that death grip on their own citizens and oppress them so much. Just fuck, dude. How stupid do you have to fucking be? If you actually want the Saudi Arabian government to cease to exist so we can stop oppressing people, and stop voting in politicians that give them so much goddamn money in military aid and training. So in conclusion, yes, I was wrong. It wasn't 100 wars. It was 64. It's still a huge problem. Doesn't change any of my points with the war crimes and terrorism and the global empire that America has. Doesn't change any of my points. It just went down, the number went down a bit. And the 134 countries that we actually have troops in, which U.S. Special Forces can contribute to oppression of people in other countries that is not actively a war in. Let's pick a random country, Uzbekistan. There's no war in Uzbekistan right now. But if U.S. Special Forces are training the Uzbekistani security forces to oppress their citizens, take away their rights, then we are actively contributing to the repression and repression of the Uzbekistani people, without actually being involved in a war. So 64 wars, that's just the main thing. Like, war is the biggest amount of conflict you can have. But the fascist security countries that we fund and train, and they oppress and repress millions of people across the world every single day, thanks to us, that is a whole different level, a whole different video, a whole different topic, because we're just talking about the wars. But that still adds to why people across the world hate America, because we contribute so much suffering across the entire world.